How's everybody doing? It is Thursday, July 25th, 2024. 76 degrees today. Oh, it's 4 o'clock right now. 76 degrees. There's a few clouds in the air. And I'm just sitting here at the park because I went and did a couple of errands. And just chilling out at the park, and there's this nice breeze coming through. You can see the trees. I mean, it's just such a calm change to the temperature, and the temperature being from, like, when it gets up to 90 and then goes to 95 is so hard to breathe because it gets that hot, and sometimes there's wind, and then most of the time there's not. It's just like where's the air, like that, where's the wind? And so it feels really good. And it's been 76 degrees since about noon. So for 4 hours, it stayed at 76 degrees. And it's just so odd because it was at 12 o'clock when I looked, it was 76 degrees. And in some places, it went up to 78 because where you are in the city, because of the certain buildings and stuff. And but then it just stayed. It went right back to 76 everywhere I went. Ouch! A kink in my neck. I was kind of laying here, kind of meditating in my mind, but not with my eyes closed. I was just observing and thinking and breathing in and listening to the wind and the vibrations and stuff. And that's when I was like thinking, this feels really good. This is like the perfect temperature. But anyway, what are you guys doing? There's some interesting things happening on the world stage. I think Netanyahu's here from Israel, and he's supposed to meet with Trump. I guess Biden and Harris canceled their meetings with him, so he's going to be meeting with Trump. It's so interesting, right? What's going on? And then what's going on, right? We all want to know. And let's see here. So notice down the world stage, and then somebody online, one of the channels, one of the guys brought up, I think it was Joel chapter 3 verse 2. It has to do with parting Israel. You who parted Israel. And then there's a clip showing where, like, I think back in 2020, I think it shows him meeting up with Netanyahu, and they were in agreement of making it a two-party state, Palestine and Israel. And then in scripture, it's like, you divided my nation up, or you divided my land up, or something like that. So I will return. So it's kind of interesting what's playing out here. And the thing about that is, I got to thinking about what scripture was talking about. So if we look at our body, so Israel is Israel. So I for iron, S for staff, Ra is the periodic table element number 88, for radium or radiant, and then L is El Shaddai, the God particle. So now take Israel, remember Jacob went in Genesis, he went to go meet the mighty angel, which was right here. He laid his head against the stone, and he laid against the stone, right? So it's like saying our third eye. He laid against the stone, and he had a vision with, the mighty angel. He had him in a headlock, or a thigh lock, that's what it was. And he wouldn't let the mighty angel go until he blessed him. And he said, the mighty angel says, "What is your name?" And he says, "Jacob." And the mighty angel replies back, "Your name is now Israel." So the iron staff is our blood, it's our DNA. Now, when you think of it that way, dividing, it's like splitting the DNA. Because whatever happens inside happens outside. It's just like, say, whatever's happening in the spirit world will eventually make its way down into the physical world. So if we look at the inside of our body, our spirit inside, eventually whatever's going on in our spirit will come out into our physical world. It's so interesting because, remember, we are the mere reflection of this whole environment. God and Genesis, remember, Genesis is gene, Genes, genes, X and Y chromosome for man, XX for female, woman. So you got genes, and then you still got the IS at the end of Genesis, so IS is iron staff. Islam, iron staff, lambda, or lamb, right? Mother Mary, they show her in a blue robe, right? But I believe Mother Mary was in a black robe, like they use in Islam, because when she was going to the manger and stuff, I can't see her wearing a royal robe like that. So it's like Mother Mary was really, this is what, so Islam is is a lamp, right? The moon. So is Israel. So it's so interesting. It's pretty much talking about the genes, and then they're talking about perhaps Trump was meeting up with Netanyahu also because it's their anniversary for I guess for the accord, something accord. He has his own coin signed by Trump, President Trump too, but it has Islam on it. And it has his sword, right? And engraved in little small print on the sword is in injection needles. There's 2 injection needles. There's a satellite. There's a spaceship. I think there's an umbrella. And a computer chip layout, like you would if you opened up your phone, you see all those computer chip like things. That was in there too. Just on the blade of the sword, all these images were in there. And the Abraham Accord, that's what it is. Such a trip, right? So I don't know how the things are going to work out or what's going to happen. So, I'm not here to say I know what's going to happen. I don't know, just as much as anybody else. I'm only just looking at these bits and pieces of things that are playing out. And I'm looking at the images on my body too. Oh, another thing that was kind of trippy too. When I woke up this morning, and I kind of giggled afterwards too. It was kind of in a I don't know. I woke up going, no, I don't want to play with snakes. Isn't that interesting? And as I'm waking up, sitting up, I'm like, no, I don't want to play with snakes. And I was coming to what I was saying. I'm like sitting there. Why did I just say that? And no, I don't want to play with snakes. And then getting to we're talking about them splitting Israel. If we look at the serpent snake is like the DNA strand, right? Um, so maybe something was saying, uh, do you want to play with snakes? Do you want to split your DNA, or do you want to cut your DNA, or do you? And then also another thing that's kind of trippy is on my computer, my laptop, in this small corner, there's a search engine, and there's always images on there, right? Well, today's image shows, I think it's a guy. It's either a guy or a female, a woman. It's hard to say because it looks like they have kind of a lab coat, and there's a DNA strand. And I'm like I was thinking, especially right when I woke up, going, no, I don't want to play with snakes. And then, getting to this point where I'm talking to you right now, it's all just coming to me too, as well. It's like a big revelation and revealing. I'm kind of like putting it all together as I'm going along. So that's why I'm getting excited and stuff. I'm just like, oh, piece it together, right? Because I've also noticed in my visions and dreams is that like the snake, you know, the snake is representing the DNA strand, the serpent, right? The serpent, the seed. Um, the male sperm has semen. It's like a little serpent, and it goes towards the egg, and it hits the egg in the wormhole, the woman's vagina. So the serpent into the wormhole, right? And then the egg falls from the fallopian tubes, and it's like a rock, rolls down the mountain, rolls down the hillside into it, and they meet, and a big spark goes off when they meet, and they connect to each other. And that's even written too, so it's a big thing about that too, a big spark, a big bang. And uh, and then coming to this, this, we're created out of this, in this water world, and then we're brought into this physical world, the dry land part of it. And when we look at our, when they say born in sin, I think I've mentioned this before. I know I've mentioned it. Below our waistline is, our privates. We're born in sin, right? So our waistline down to our heels is Hades, and then our heels is hell, the bottoms of our feet, kind of. And then our waistline up is earth, and then heaven. So our torso is earth, the four corners of the earth, and our head is heaven. So when I look at everything that's happening and the splitting, now that I'm looking at this, the splitting of the DNA, I wonder if something from the sun or something, perhaps a flash, that's going to happen. Because I know that our DNA is being upgraded, and perhaps, and I don't know, I think somebody online, I don't know, it might have been one of those people who channel or spiritual, or I don't know. I don't know where I heard it, but I have this sense of something about whenever some type of flash or some type of big bang that happens, things are going to change. It's like automatic upgrade. I don't know. Because, when I look at this and we look at ourselves and we're like, how is that possible? But when we look at it as frequency, as vibration, it's like certain vibrations and sounds keep things together, right? And that's why I think 7.83 hertz for my body keeps me together and active and alive. It's when you start breaking it down to like probably 2, 1, 2, is when the body just breaks apart. Isn't that interesting? Because there's nothing to hold it together in vibration or frequency or sound. And then, again, when you go to higher frequencies too, it could lead you into enlightenment, but in a different way, right? In a blossoming way. And then you got, oh, that's what come to me. I want to say this before it gets too long. Just seeing this on Facebook, people are talking about gravity. What is gravity, right? No one knows who invented gravity. And, you know, I've, I've started to learn through this whole program thing that it's the words gravity. What word is in gravity? Grave, right? Grounding. Uh, and then I was like thinking, when they ground you, they put you 6 feet under, um, in a box. Should we be in a box? That's another form of grounding, I do believe. Then I'm like thinking, I don't know, something was kind of trippy or off about it, because I was looking at those cowboy movies, or flashing back to cowboy movies, how they would just dig a hole and put the body directly in, considering that our body is created from heaven and earth, above and below, created by heaven and earth. And hell, or Hades, is part of the system, right? Um, so interesting. If we can just look at ourselves, that's why. Um, oh, I'm just going to go off on a tangent, so I just need to stop. But anyway, it's good talking to you guys. Um, my mom sent me my stepfather sent me and my older brother, they all signed a birthday card today. That was very nice, and a little gift. I was like, yay, it's pretty cool. So, my birthday's Saturday, so it's so awesome to have it on Saturday. So hopefully it's a pretty nice day. I want to drive up to um, Foster Foster, yeah, Foster Reservoir in Oregon. Um, Check it out. I haven't been up there. It's up by Sweet Home, Oregon. I was kind of raised there in a way. Actually, I was raised in Macomb, but we always stayed the night at my cousin's house because my mom was working up there. So she'd drop us off and we'd spend the night, come back in the morning, go to school. It's kind of one of those things. Um, but I didn't mind. Me and my brothers didn't mind because um, we got to see our cousins a lot. So we pretty much grew up with our two cousins, which become pretty much our best friends. Besides my cousin, he was around this. He was actually just months below me in age, um, probably like 5 or 6 months younger than me. So we're pretty much around the same age. And then my younger brother, not the youngest of my brothers, but the one below me, he was the same age as um, his my cousin's brother too, as well. So, and we all become best friends with each other and hung out with each other. I think, and my older brother, he probably had the hardest time because he didn't have anybody to. Um, but he really didn't want to deal with anybody. My oldest brother is kind of a loner, uh, very very shy. My goodness, he is very very shy. He's 60 years old right now, and he's still the same way as he was when we were teenagers and stuff. I'll go back that far. Um, the mindset, everything. I'd say it's bizarre, but I don't know if it's bizarre or not. Um, but yeah, he's got that. He's got a victim mentality, big time. He used to get picked on a lot in school, But that's kind of his own fault though, because he would he wouldn't clean up, he wouldn't bathe, he wouldn't comb his hair. Um, he had greasy, dirty hands all the time. He could have cleaned up before going to school, but he just chose to lead that life, and he still leads that life, except for his hands aren't greasy anymore, because he doesn't mess with the cars and stuff. Now he messes with the ground and the dirt and stuff like that, and the chickens and stuff. Um, but it's interesting though. I'm not judging. I just look at you know what my mom and dad created. Now that I'm thinking about genes and my genes, and looking at, yeah, my dad and my mom, even though they couldn't get along or whatever, but it's like this was meant to be. Everything was meant to be the way it turned out, and the experiences that we had to go through, um, even though we didn't like them at the time or understand them, were meant to be. I can see, because going forward in my life lately, in the last few years, I've had flashbacks about certain times in my life with both my parents and certain things, and being in certain cars. Like my mom used to have these little uh, Volkswagens, the older Volkswagens and stuff. And then my dad had a Bug, the bus, that kind of thing, and but he got rid of the bus. But it was that whole experience. I loved those cars. I loved driving a stick shift. You know, it was just a highlight of my life, and that's, I think, gonna be my next car, is a Volkswagen. But I want to get the. I don't care for the new Volkswagens. I don't like the style. I don't like the models of them. I don't even like the sounds, because the original sound of the Volkswagen is what makes it a Volkswagen. Right now, you can't even hear that it's Volkswagen. But yeah, that's one of my dreams. If we ever get that, maybe in another life, if they have Volkswagens. uh, I don't know. Win the win the lottery, the Oregon Megabucks lottery, and then I'll get it. you know. And even if we get taken up or whatever, that's okay. It's still the thrill of it. I won't even miss the money, because it's like not even having it anyway. It's just for fun. I don't know. I don't get too attached to anything at all anymore, um, because I want change, and I don't, and I can see, I can see pretty much the board game, right? And I can see from the people's perspective, and many that are not going to change, and they're just going to say, it's like this system's just going to keep going the same, and it's going to increase and increase in people, and it's just going to be, you can already see this ending coming. But I can also see the beginning coming as well, and that's what I focus on, is this new beginning, and how this new beginning is going to be. Maybe it's going to be the new DNA upgrade. Maybe perhaps that was what was going, meaning about the serpent. You want to play with the snakes? Sure. I don't know, just pretty wild stuff. Here's a question for you, and I'll get off here. Do you ever wake up talking and remember what you're saying and sit there and go, why did I just say that? Have an awesome day.